Hi everybody, it's Jackie Schomburg-Abstract. Today I'm going to experiment with one of my favorite tools that I use for art. It's kind of an accidental tool. Dun, 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 dun. Baby wipes. I know this is a little crazy, but just trust me on this one. Give me some minutes of your time. So it's no surprise that I have 3 children who are, thank goodness, out of diapers. And we've had a lot of baby wipes around for the last 7 years. But I will always have baby wipes around because of how much it helps me with my art. Aside from just cleaning up, I use baby wipes to clean my color shapers, just wipe them off and they're clean again, which is amazing. But I also use them for paint application, believe it or not. So this is just a sketchbook, mixed media sketchbook. I have some colors here. So if I want to just take some of this blue, right? I don't need to have any great plan in mind, but I can just use this to apply the paint. So I don't need to get any brushes dirty or anything. So you can do this with paper towel, but sometimes paper towels start crumbling, and this, because it's made out of this fabric, mystery fabric, whatever it is, I can put a bunch of pressure on it and scrub back and forth, and it's not going to leave any residue, or at least not much. So that was use number 1, just to spread paint around. The other thing you can do is to do a glaze. I'm going to spread some more paint around first, though. Let's see. Well, I'll do a little bit of both. So this is still wet. Let me dry it so I can do the glaze. Okay, so glazing works best with a transparent paint. So I have here some phthalo blue, and when I apply it, you'll see that I'm basically wiping it through, but also away. So the color of the paper is getting stained with this. And if I continue to wipe it away, you'll see that some of it's still stained, and some of it wipes away. And if I keep going like this, it's just getting a really, really light application. Now, glazes do work differently over paper, just blank paper, versus over other paint. So you can see how it wiped away easier from this light blue paint that I already had here than it did from just the plain paper. So part of what we're going to do right now is also just get the paper covered in paint. Okay, so let's do this side. Again, I'm taking another wipe. And as I do this, some of the paint lifts off that was on top of the other paint. The other areas that were plain paper will just continue to get stained by this. So it's kind of cheating. It's almost like, it's not cheating, it's just a different effect. But it's a way that you can get some watercolor effects using acrylic paint. So glazing is basically just tinting, although tint is a different word. Tinting means adding white to something, but it's just adding a sheer coat of some kind of paint on top. Now I'm going to switch to my color shaper because I'm going to add some white, and then I'll show you something else I can do. Okay, so I'm adding white. And I'm covering over some interesting marks. So let's say either I made a mistake or I just want to carve some spaces out so they're not white. Go clean white. And I can do this. Go over it again, you get a little bit more off. In this case, I'm not letting enough time between layers so that the previous layer can dry, so I'll do that next. And then here, all right, same thing here. I didn't let enough dry time here. So let me dry it. Before it's totally dry, I'm going to add some squiggles here too. Okay, so I've dried these for the most part. While I'm waiting to put the next layer on, I'm just gonna give it one more minute to dry. I'm going to get a China marker. Here it is. Okay, I have my China marker. I'm just gonna make some marks just to make things more interesting, and I'm actually gonna close my eyes for this. I find that if I keep my eyes open, I don't know, my marks feel too contrived. So, some random marks that now, see, I'm wiping this off with my baby wipe. I waited a little bit long, so some of the paint is stuck on there, but I can just use my fingernails to dig down a little bit deeper, and it will clear up the tip, and then I can peel it off later. Okay. So I'm mixing. So this is just some phthalo blue with some black on it. And apparently some white on it also. Okay. So let's see here. Now, because phthalo blue is a transparent color, right, I can use this as more of a glaze. Right, and you can see how now we're getting some depth in here. You have to keep getting a clean one if you want the edges to not be colored, or if you want to peel back some of the glaze, wipe some of it away. But look how much depth we just got there just by adding that glaze. I'm going to add a little bit more over here. So you kind of wipe it on and then wipe it off, because it will set quickly because it's just a thin layer. Just going to do a little bit, but might as well do more. And again, if you don't want the color to stay completely over the top, you do need to work fast. And because this was basically just raw paper without paint on it, you can see how the color just soaked in right away, and it's not going to wipe off, which is fine. It's just a different technique, so you just need to know what you can expect from what you're doing. This is a really fun one, or a fun exercise to just try and go for it. I'm going to use, I want something darker. So I'm using that same color with my color shaper. Cover over some of the marks I made with the China marker. All right, you can see that this is, I mean, this is pretty dark. So I want things to be not quite so dreary. I can take a baby wipe and I can wrap it around the bottom of this pen just to get a smaller surface here than my whole hand. And I can carve out some shapes, some lines. You have to keep moving to a clean part of the wipe if you want it to show through. Okay, so I really didn't need the pen since I made it a wide space, but I didn't know I was going to make it a wide space until I did it. And you can use the baby wipe to gently blend the edges. Now you can see I have my fingers down here, so there is a fingerprint there. And of course, if we did it in time, I can use my spray bottle. We'll see if I did it before things dried completely. What do you think? Think it's going to work or no? No. Nope. Didn't do it fast enough. So, one more reminder that this dries very quickly and you need to work fast if you want to do something special on it. Okay. And yes, I go through a ton of wipes. Not usually quite this many because I am trying to clean things in a timely manner since I'm doing this video, you know, real time. But I do use a decent amount of these. Okay, so I'm going to go back in here with some white, play out these contrasts. Go in, keep that part. And add something new. if I were doing this without the pressure of real-time video. I could just keep turning my wipe just to make sure I get to a better, cleaner spot on it before I wipe the next part. You can overwork these quickly because if you put too much wetness on the paper where there isn't paint, the paper will start to peel up, which is happening right here. However, I mean, that's not really a huge problem. So now what I'm going to do is, this is an awesome background. I'm going to add, what will I add? I'm going to add some white marks with my China marker. Clear off the tip so it's all white. All right, I'm going to dry it again, and then I'm going to go in with some warm colors, and I can show you how quickly a glaze can change this. Okay, these are dry now. It's important to dry before you're going to glaze, because if you glaze and you're moving your wet, either a wet paper towel or a baby wipe around, if the paint underneath is wet, you'll wipe that away too. All right, so I got some quinacridone gold, and watch how quickly this can warm up the picture. Okay, and you'll notice that obviously it has an impact on the blue over here and changes that to green. Does typically have a better effect. Well, it depends on what you're going for. Often it has a better effect if you do it in smaller areas, but I get carried away. So I give you permission to get carried away too. Try this again, see if I got it in time. I think I just flooded that whole area with a really big spray. While I'm waiting for that, I'll do some on the other side. So here, let's see, where do I want some warmth? I think I want it up here. All right, to get some of the drips here. Very subtle. I love this though. I love how I applied it and some of it stuck and some of it got wiped away. So it looks a bit weathered, which is really, I think, really cool. And it's also a bit thicker if I apply it more thickly. More thickly? I don't know. You're not coming to me for grammar, right? I don't know what I'm saying. But with the thicker paint application, I can wipe some of it away over here and keep that thicker edge, which then becomes more of a focal point. And the thing about glazes, you can glaze over and over and over and over again and build up the layers. So it looks like the paint is actually glowing from within. So, per usual, I like this side better. This side's kind of a mess, but we can fix that. So no worries. And you'll notice that these edges are curving up a bit because I've used so much water. No big deal. Oops, that's stuck there. Because what I'll do is I'll just take, actually I'll just do it now. I can take some gloss medium on the back. Okay, take a clean color shaper. Spread it out. Make sure you get all the way to the edges of the paper. Oops. And as this side dries, the curling will subside. And then once you close your sketchbook and leave it closed for a day or two, it will be flat. Just don't want to do the other side now because I don't want to glue this side to this page. I'll do the other part later. Okay, so what to do next? I'm going to look for some collage. There's my giant collage bin. And I have this left over from something else. And I knew I would need it at some point. I just need to figure out how I want to use it. I have it be a first way. I think I'm going to use it like that. See how that instantly covers up all these other parts that I wasn't crazy about? Can you see how the curl's already coming out of this side? Okay. All right, it's been a while since I've put a piece this big down. Tissue paper is pretty forgiving if you don't have enough medium underneath, because the wetness will soak through a decent amount from the top down. But if you're using actual paper, you for sure need to make sure you have enough under. And this looks so different to me. Did I even do this in the area in the way that I had started out to do? I don't think I did. Well, here's where it is now. I'm sure this is a different place than I had it before, but I like that. And now this side, I don't know if I want to add anything to that side. I could use some of these scraps. No. Okay, you guys know I love my little circles here. I think what I'll do definitely play with this. And I like the idea of this being part of this line. I do like that. And here I'm trying to decide how subtle I want this to be. Do I want it to be coming out of the dark part? Do I want it to be totally standalone white, which the black and white would really be a strong contrast? Don't think I want that. I think I want it to be like that. Now I have to decide if I want to keep this on. I think I'll just put it here. Decide in the moment. And because I'm putting this on this tissue paper on a darker substance or darker color, I knew this was going to show up, but I'm just going to leave it. All right. More, or just leave it alone. I'm just going to leave that. Okay, so this one, now I have this extra section here that I don't like just raw on top. So I will do something about that. This looks pretty cool, but it's obviously just stuck on here. So I want to do a little bit more with this. And one of the things I'm going to do is continue these lines out in a different color. Same is true here, but I'm not going to use black and white. I think here I'm going to use not sure where I want to put that yet. So I'm not sure where it's going to end up. I'm just going to tape that whole section. And now the real question, what color do I use? I wanted to use orange. Maybe a yellow orange. Well, that didn't work well. This is still wet. So that brings a whole extra thing here. Okay, do a bit more glazing. Oh, incidentally, one more use for wipes is, let's say let's do something up here. Let's say I did that and I thought, ugh, nope, don't like that at all. I can just take this and wipe it off. Ta-da! As long as it's water soluble, you can use wipes to wipe those things away. But I actually did like that. So let me add something back in. Okay, let me add another bit of glaze. I'm going to add this blue, phthalo blue and black. To brighten this up a bit. And you can make it as subtle as you want, or as bold as you want. Just like anything else in art. Doesn't matter what I think or what I do, it matters what you want and what you want your art to look like. Because it doesn't feel good to spend a whole bunch of time creating something that someone else would like, unless it feels like you made it and you like it for you. So don't worry so much about what I do and other artists online. Truly worry about what you like, because you're the one who has to find your own thing. There's much more joy in finding what you love and figuring out how to make it, using things you can learn from other people, than just getting good at what someone else does, which ultimately will never feel as authentic, because it won't be. It won't be coming from you. No, don't like that. All right, there's one more thing that I use baby wipes for that I almost forgot to share, and that is stencils. So if I decided that I wanted to put some lines in here, some stripes, and I don't really know where I would want lines, but let's say I want them to be here. All right, I can take a wipe, basically glaze in stencil. So let me show you that. Okay, so again, this is what's here now. I think I'll use it on this one. So this is here now. If I want to add some stripes over here, coming out of here, okay. I can do that and it'll give you a rough stencil outline. And then if you want to, you can either just dry it off like that. You can go in and clean it up. Just depends how much effort you want to put into it. I'm not overly worried about this one. But it's just another thing you can do. I don't particularly love these, so I'm just going to fade them a little bit back. That's better. All right, so that's what I have for you guys today. I hope you learned something new. I hope you enjoyed this random experiment. I've never actually made art with so many different baby wipe techniques all in the same piece. This piece I think is very promising. This one, I don't know yet. I'm gonna let that some time go by on that one. Have a wonderful day, everyone. I hope you are making something today, creating something, being kind to yourself. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I would love to bring more art to your inbox next week. Bye.